Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children. What did you have for your breakfast today? Chapati, rice, pongal, dosa, etc. For chapati, what do you need children? Wheat. For idli, what do you need? Rice. So all these are produced by the farmers. Okay. Now today we are going for a familiar topic, that is agriculture. Agriculture is taken from a Latin word agricultura, that is agri means field, cultura means growing or cultivation. Now what happens when we ask a question to a common people in India, what is the main occupation of India, means automatically you will be saying agriculture. We give lots of importance as far as agriculture is concerned in our country. Even to this day, almost 2/3 of the population are engaged on it. It is the one where a lot of primary activities goes on. Now we can see how the agriculturists produce food and how it is used for the consumption of the people, and from that we will be getting the raw materials, and that raw materials are given to the industries. That industries, they just make it as a finished product, and later on they will transport to the market, so that we can see almost all the three activities, that is the primary, secondary and tertiary activities occurring because of this agriculture. Now we can see what are the factors which are depending upon the agriculture. First, the physical environment. See children, the environment plays a very prominent role for cultivation of crops. It depends upon the landforms, it depends upon the climate, temperature, rainfall, etc. If anything is not prominent to it, automatically we can't see the correct output coming from it. Technological know-how. Nowadays we can see lots of changes occurring in the technology in all the fields, especially in the agricultural field. So we do have lots of harvesters, you have threshers, you have thresheries where the paddy comes out separately from the crop as such. Then lastly you have the socio-cultural practice. Even to this day we do follow lots of people who are following the old types of way, that is ploughing, where they have a digging sticks, all these things. Now the next part of that lesson, almost we are going for types of farming. For the types of farming, we do have three types, that is primitive subsistence farming, then you have intensive subsistence farming and commercial farming. Now primitive, the name itself is suggesting primitive means we do have the old type of ways where they use for cultivation. That is, they are being carried out in a small patch of land. They clear that patch of land and they start their cultivation. This type of cultivation they do only for the consuming purposes. Here you can see only the family members working on it. No more third person will be working in their field. Secondly, it mainly depends upon the monsoon rainfall. So we can't see any type of irrigation, any type of tube wells or any type of modern machines in the primitive subsistence farming. Thirdly, they produce it for their own family to consume. So automatically here no surplus product are produced. Now we can go, it has an other name, that is slash and burn agriculture. Why have this primitive subsistence farming is having this other name? Means the farmers who cultivate the land first come and clear the patch of land and they start cultivating it. So after some time, when the fertility of the soil decreases, automatically these farmers move to the other place, that is they shift to the other place in order to cultivate in that land, because the fertility has decreased in the land where they were cultivating. They give time for the nature to replenish the fertility of the soil through natural processes. Now land productivity is very much low in the primitive subsistence farming, because you do have only the farmers, farmers families only cultivating those land as such. The land is very small, only for their family members. It is known by different name in different parts of the country, that is it is called northeastern region, we call it as Juming, then you call it as Conico in Venezuela, Ray in Vietnam, etc. The second part of the types of subsistence farming is intensive subsistence farming. In the previous class, I just gave you the types of farming, children, that is primitive subsistence farming. Now, we are going for the second part, that is intensive subsistence farming. Now, you already know in the primitive, they used only the primitive type of tools, but in intensive, you can see lots of modern types of tools. Now, practiced in areas of high population pressure on land, that is the cultivation process for this is taking place in a high land, a high place of land where you can just yield more and lots of surplus goods also comes as an output for it. Secondly, you have the labor intensive farming. As far as primitive subsistence farming, it was just a family oriented where they produce the crops and they consume it. But here you can see the production is taken place only for the industrial purposes as such. So here the labor are working in the field and they are given the wages accordingly. Thirdly, heavy biochemical inputs and intensive irrigation used to obtain higher production. Now, automatically in this sentence we can come to know that lots of new technical machines are used for to get a higher production, and lots of biochemical inputs in the sense we do have lots of insecticides, pesticides to use to cultivate the crops and get a high yield. The right of inheritance leading to the division of land by making land holding size uneconomical means right of inheritance. What do you mean by that, children? So, right of inheritance means where the land is being divided to generation. Automatically, because of this division, we can see that land holding size has become uneconomical. The output will not be more because of this division. Then we come to the last type of farming, that is commercial farming. The name itself is suggesting commercial means profit, where you invest more and you yield more as a profit. The agricultural practice on large scale by using modern technology to earn good income, we call it as a commercial farming. So, all the modern technology is used in order to cultivate for the commercial farming. For this, it is not a small land, it is very big land, even more than the intensive farming as such. Here we will be having very big land as a large land holding, and they will be cultivating the crops, and the surplus will be given to the other countries as an export also. Then they use high level inputs and HYV seeds. HYV seeds in the sense high yielding seeds where the production will be more. So, automatically with these two things, that is using high level of inputs and using high level of seeds, what happens? Automatically we can obtain high productivity. Then good irrigation facilities, canals, tube wells and lots of other irrigation facilities where the water presence will be very much more and the cultivation will be more. Automatically we can see the yield also getting more. Use of chemical fertilizers, insecticides and pesticides, even this is being used in a more way and in a huge way, and the output also they will be getting in a more profit as such. In the commercial farming, we do have another types of farming, that is plantation agriculture. Usually this type of plantation we use for some of the commodities like coffee, tea, sugarcane, etc., where only one type of cropping will be grown throughout a large space of land. So, automatically when a large space of land, only one type, for example tea in Assam, in a large land, the tea alone will be grown and it will be used for the, it will be used as a raw materials for the industries. So, it becomes agro-based industries where the industries produce the finished product and finally it is being given to the market. So, produces raw materials for various agro-based industries, I just told you now, and one single crop in a large scale. So, what happened? Now, I just gave you the example about the tea where they just use one big patch of land as such, and only one type of crop are grown over there. Then use capital intensive input. So, lots of investment is given to that production. Automatically you can see why they are using the labor. That labor where they are using in this plantation crop will be a migrant labor. Why they are using the migrant labor means for two causes, children. That is, one, if it is a migrant labor, we can just give low wages and get high profit. Lastly, when we come to the plantation plantation form agriculture means automatically we can see that I told you tea in Assam, coffee in Karnataka, in a large land they just grow one single crop. When they have got the raw materials, they are giving to the industries, and that industries when they are producing the when they are giving out the finished product, it has to reach to the market. So for that purpose you should have good network of transport and communication where the market facilitates the whenever it is required. So transport and communication network should be absolutely good, where the transportation will move on in a very smooth way and we can get a good success as such. So tea in Assam and coffee in Karnataka are said to be the best example for the plantation agriculture. So we can just recapitulate what I told about the types of farming, children. We do have primitive subsistence farming, intensive subsistence farming, commercial farming. In that commercial farming, I just gave you the plantation agriculture. So in that primitive subsistence farming, we have the slash and burn agriculture, where you do have a small patch of land, clearing that land, they cultivate the crops, and finally when it loses its fertility, they move to the other place. Then intensive subsistence farming, I told you it is a labor intensive farming, and where you do have the output and it is used for the industrial purposes also. Then I told you about the commercial farming, where it is said to be a profit oriented one, and you do have lots of modern technology used for it, where you just invest more and you get the profit in a huge sum of money as such. And finally in that commercial farming, I told you about the plantation culture, where one single crop is grown and huge investment is given. In this you do have the migrant labor. For that migrant labor, we depend on the migrant labor in order to give them wages which is said to be very much little when it is compared to that usual people who are in that place itself. Now we are going to the next topic, children, that is cropping pattern. Now we already know that India is said to be a diversified nation, and in the previous chapter and all I told you, you do have lots of different soils, and all the soil cannot be very much feasible for all the crops. For example, rice is very much suitable for alluvial soil. Black soil is very much suitable for cotton. Likewise, we do have certain pattern where some crops can be grown in some season as such. Likewise, the cropping pattern, we can just divide the cropping pattern into three types, that is rabi crops, that is kharif and zaid. Rabi crops, they are usually sown in winter from October to December. They are harvested from April to June. The crops which can be grown during this rabi season is wheat, barley, peas, mustard. Some of the states which cultivates this type of rabi crops is Punjab, Haryana, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh. The success of these rabi crops in winter depends on the western temperature cyclone that causes heavy rainfall. Because of this, you can see that the cultivation of the rabi crops is so much successful in Punjab and Haryana. Now we are going for the second pattern of cropping, that is kharif. They are usually sown on the onset of monsoon, that is May to July. Then they are harvested in the month of September or October. The crops which are grown in kharif season is, that is rice, maize, jowar, bajra and soyabean, and you do have some more crops in that. Some of the states are Assam, West Bengal, coastal regions of Orissa, etc. Now they are said to be a well irrigated area where they do have three types of paddy being grown, that is Oz, Aman and Boro in Punjab. So they do have three crops of paddy which is grown in Punjab, that is Oz, Aman and Boro. The last types of cropping pattern is zaid. Now when these two crops are being grown, in between these two seasons we do have the zaid, that is they are sown in the month between rabi and kharif season, from March to June. Some of the crops are watermelon, muskmelon, cucumber, etc. That's it, children. We got to know about almost the cropping pattern, the 3 cropping pattern, Rabi, Kharif and Zaid, along with the states, along with the crops when they are sown and when they are harvested. That's all for today, children. Tomorrow we'll meet. Thank you.